When a wildfire tears through a forest, it doesn't just destroy, it clears. It burns away the overgrowth that was choking the canopy, returns nutrients to the soil, and creates the precise conditions under which new life becomes possible. Ecologists have a word for this. They call it a reset. 40 days before Easter, billions of people on Earth voluntarily enter their own reset. They give something up. They sit with the absence, and they wait. Natural disasters follow a shape that researchers in disaster psychology have documented consistently across cultures and geographies. There is the event itself, sudden, total, and indiscriminate. Then the acute aftermath, the shock, the loss, the confrontation with what remains. Then, almost always, something unexpected. A period of radical community cohesion, of stripped-back living, of people discovering what actually matters when everything non-essential has been removed. Sociologists call this the post-disaster utopia, a phenomenon so well documented it has its own literature. In the immediate wake of catastrophe, crime drops, generosity spikes, strangers help strangers without calculation. The ordinary frictions of social life dissolve because the disaster has performed a brutal but clarifying edit, removing everything that wasn't load-bearing and leaving only what is. Lent is 40 days of voluntary privation practiced by Christians in the weeks before Easter. Fasting, abstinence, the giving up of something valued, these are its instruments. But underneath the religious framework lies a structure that predates Christianity and appears in virtually every major spiritual tradition in human history, the deliberate, temporary embrace of loss as a tool for transformation. The 40 days map onto the biblical narrative of Jesus in the desert, stripped of comfort, confronting temptation, and clarifying purpose. But they also map onto something older and more universal, the human intuition that you cannot know what something means to you until you have lived without it. That abundance, uninterrupted, eventually becomes invisible. That the self, unchallenged, slowly calcifies. Here is where the parallel deepens beyond the individual. Both natural disasters and Lent do something to communities that ordinary life consistently fails to do. They create a shared condition. When a disaster hits a town, everyone inside it is suddenly living the exact same reality. The same loss, the same uncertainty, the same stripped-back daily existence. The social hierarchies that normally separate people, such as wealth, status, and routine, are temporarily suspended. What remains is the bare human fact of people who need each other. Lent produces a quieter version of the same leveling. A congregation fasting together, abstaining together, is a community that has voluntarily chosen a shared condition. The shared privation creates a shared interiority, a collective attentiveness that ordinary comfortable life doesn't generate. You are not just giving something up alone. You are giving it up alongside everyone around you, and that changes what the absence feels like. Anthropologists who study communal ritual consistently find that shared hardship, even voluntary symbolic hardship, is one of the most powerful mechanisms humans have ever developed for building social cohesion. It works because it bypasses language and argument and goes directly into experience. You don't have to agree with someone to feel what they feel when you're both going without. What both natural disasters and Lent reveal is something that modern consumer culture is architecturally designed to prevent you from noticing, that the human psyche needs periods of emptiness in order to function. Abundance, relentlessly maintained, produces a specific kind of numbness. When everything is always available, nothing feels fully real. The meal eaten after a fast tastes different from the meal eaten from habit. The spring that arrives after 40 days of Lenten winter feels different from a spring you simply waited for passively. The community rebuilt after a disaster has a quality of intentionality, of chosen connection, that the community before the disaster often lacked. The reset doesn't just remove things. It restores the capacity to feel what you had before you lost it. It returns meaning to the ordinary. It makes the unremarkable remarkable again, simply by briefly, deliberately making it absent. This is what disaster does involuntarily. This is what Lent does by design. And the fact that humans developed Lent and dozens of analogous practices across every major tradition suggests something important, that some part of us has always known that comfort, left unchecked, is its own kind of loss. There is a reason that the most enduring human rituals are not celebrations of abundance. They are rehearsals of loss, fasts, vigils, periods of wondering and waiting and doing without. They exist because the people who built them understood something about the human condition that we keep having to relearn, that we do not know what we are made of until something strips away what we thought we needed. Natural disasters teach this involuntarily, violently, without consent. Lent offers the same curriculum at a pace you can survive. 40 days, freely chosen absences, and all this carried communally. Both end the same way, not with a return to what was before, but with the quiet, hard-won discovery that what remains after the burning was always enough. That was it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please come back next week for the next one. See you!